This week, East Africa's top industrialists met in Uganda to, among other things, brainstorm on strategies to encourage regional productivity and ensure the smooth flow of the resultant products across the region. Several concerns, including the persistence of non-tariff barriers and stiff competition from outside the region, were raised. But that's for later. Welcome to Money Matters. Coming up, East African industrialists raise red flag over relocation of Chinese factories into the region. How to clear cargo under the EAC customs territory. While Ugandans enjoy a good reputation as a highly entrepreneurial lot, much of this tends to go towards trade or production of tangible goods. The service industry still eludes many. Our guest today is Frank Muramura, the chairman of Kingsway Schools and a managing director of Jofra International Forwarders, all service-based businesses.
All right, Mr. Frank Muramura, it's very nice to have you on the show. Money Matters, you're most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Now, I know you are a seasoned businessman with interest in education, clearing and forwarding, and a couple of other areas. Now, for starters, how do you look at the Ugandan market? How is the business terrain in this country?
The business terrain, in my opinion, is fine. Even for people who complain about tax regimes, it's because we are not very used to paying taxes, and probably because they do not easily see the purpose and use for the taxes. But once they are aware what taxes do, I think they would appreciate the terrain.
I hear you. Now, one would wonder, because I know among the investments you have is Kingsway Primary School.
Yes, sir.
You also have a nursery section somewhere.
Yes.
And a high school somewhere.
Yes.
Tell us, how have you managed to put up such, an investment?
First of all, we have been taking it one step at a time, according to our resources available. And we usually don't bite what we cannot chew. So we started with maybe one building, and even that one, not the whole of it, just part of it. And when finances became available, we kept adding on an extra 2 rooms, extra 3 rooms, until we put up all the structures that you see operating as a school.
Now, the services industry seems to be a challenge for a number of Ugandans. In fact, a number of Ugandan businessmen are known for this merchandising business, trading in tangible assets. Now, specifically talking about services, because education is a service, how have you been able to build a strong, sustainable education institution and, despite all the challenges that a number of business people keep talking about?
You will probably realize that people tend to go for where they believe there is quality service at affordable prices. We have tried to work with that. So even if I told you we take one small step at a time, whatever step we take, we make sure it is quality, both in terms of structures and personnel. For your information, our recruitment policy here follows a rigorous set of steps that you will apply, that you will get shortlisted if you qualify to be on the shortlist, that you will do a written interview, that you will do a practical interview, you go in class and teach for teaching jobs, and then it is after that that you go for the oral interview now, which discusses other matters. Then by the time you go through those steps, we are sure that we have captured all that we need for a good teacher, and if you are good, you'll deliver good quality, and people will come to look for it. You don't have to struggle. You know you have recruited good quality. So that makes us keep going on.
Now, Uganda, for some time, seemed to enjoy a comparative advantage in the education service subsector, so to speak. And for that, we had a number of students from the region coming to this market, seeking education. Do you believe we still enjoy that advantage over the others?
Yes, I do believe we enjoy such an advantage. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing the number of foreigners that we are seeing, particularly in our school. for the record, we have about 30% of our schools, the 3 schools, 30% are foreign students. And they are willing even to pay in foreign currency. So that tells you there's something good that they are looking for, which may not easily be available in their countries of origin. So yes, the comparative advantage still exists, and especially for countries which have been non-English speaking, like Burundi, Rwanda, and South Sudan, and they are looking to partake in the curriculum which is English-based. There we still have an advantage. Good. And we are taking advantage of it.
Good, good. Now, do you think we're doing enough to protect as a country? First of all, at the level of government, and then 2, at the level of players, investors in this sector, maybe the teachers in this sector, to actually protect that advantage?
I believe that there the government may not have done enough, because countries which do not have natural resources have developed much faster than us, who have a lot of natural resources, because they have invested in their human resource. In the case of Uganda, yes, the people in charge of government talk about it as a good thing, but when it comes in terms of protection, for example, tax regimes, they look at it as a business. They don't look at it as a center of developing a national human resource. So they subject the schools to the same level of taxation as if it was a trading company. And to that extent, I think the government is not doing enough to increase the quality of the human resource of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hear you. Now, moving on, the number of people out there, some of our viewers who probably are nursing ambitions of starting or going into the education sector, what kind of counsel would you give them?
I would say that in any business, including service sector, which includes school, the most important thing is that people should trust you. That if you say, I'm going to deliver this, you work towards delivering it. If you fail, they should understand. You should explain to them why you have failed, and this failure should give you a lesson to improve better. And when you say this will be delivered in this time, you should strive to beat that deadline. People should be able to predict your actions based on your promises. As long as they are not able to see you fulfilling the promises, they won't come along with you. And that's very crucial and important in this sector of education.
On that note, sir, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's been nice having you on the show.
No,
Money Matters, thank you very much.
Okay.
Translocation of Chinese small and mid-sized companies into East Africa remains one among the critical challenges threatening the region's indigenous industrialization drive over the next 5 years. A key summit discussing EAC's manufacturing capabilities, opportunities and challenges has also had that formidable East African enterprises must focus on innovation, technology and standards so as to survive Chinese firms. In Insight this week, we assess the issues at the core of this concern.
The East African economy remains highly attractive for actual translocation of several small and medium factories out of China. A new observation on competitiveness now indicates.
You have a substantial advantage by geography and by infrastructure and the growing political goodwill of integrating more. But model yourself to the realities of the market. As East Asia becomes very expensive in the cost of production, rising costs of labor, enterprises are looking for where to relocate. Enterprises are becoming too expensive to manufacture in China. What does it take for you to be able to absorb this? Number one, it's not good enough that your labor is cheap. It's more important that your labor is productive.
The first ever EAC Manufacturers Business Summit here in Kampala has been cautioned that they risk being victims of the current challenges being faced by Chinese players.
China is losing about 8 million jobs a year. They are shifting. We, if we invested in manufacturing, can create over 2.3 million jobs, and I think this is a conservative estimate, but it's not going to happen unless we all get together to address the challenges that this sector faces.
A cross-section of the regional manufacturers are admitting this threat, arguing that promoting innovation, technology and standards is the way to go.
They are worried about their competitiveness in the next 5 years. They want to move out their low labor cost industries out to places which are more competitive. In fact, their costs per capita are rising. Their labor costs are rising too. And they're looking for destinations anywhere, whether it's Asia, whether it's Africa, whether it's Latin America, to locate them and say, fine, can we put those industries out here?
The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development is also warning the private sector across the region to remain vigilant and focused.
Indeed, you are becoming the gateway to Africa, but don't be the gateway to importing external products into East Africa. Be the gateway for the export of East African produce. Be the gateway for African value added. The challenges are larger than making good statements about the intentions of our countries. The customs union, the common market of East Africa, was supposed to be a preparatory phase to identify competitiveness, areas of non-competitiveness, to invest in improved productivity, to prepare for a more liberalized global market.
But the East African Business Council says that wide gaps within the region's tax administration also warrants harmonizing.
Across the East African Community region, lack of harmonized taxes has led to high tax administration, and compliance costs, harmful tax competition, as well as smuggling of highly taxed excisable goods. It is important that efforts in this area be fast-tracked.